Hello students, myself Maitri Dave and today we are going to discuss about wall finishes. The first thing is the plastering over here, right? So let us start our today's lecture. So let me give you first the introduction about plastering. So plastering is the process of covering rough surfaces of wall, column and other building component with thin coat of plastic mortar to form durable surface. The coating of plastic material means the mortar is termed as the plaster and the plastering on the external exposed surface is known as the rendering. Here you can see the concept of plastering from this image, right? Now there are some of the objects of the plastering where the first thing we can say to protect the external surfaces against the penetration of rainwater and the other atmospheric agencies, to give smooth surface in which dust and dirt cannot lodge, to give decorative effect, even to protect surfaces against the vermins, to conceal inferior material or defective workmanship. So these all are the main objective of providing the plastering. Now let us see what are the requirements for a good plaster. So we can say it should adhere to the background and should remain adhered during all variation in the seasons and other atmospheric conditions. It should be hard and durable. It should possess good workability. It should be possible to apply it during all weather conditions. It should be cheap and it should effectively check penetration of the moisture. So these all are the requirements that one should keep in mind when we talk about a good plastering work. Now let us see different types of mortar for the plastering. So the selection of type of plaster depend upon the following factors. From where we can say the first is availability of the binding materials, durability requirements, the finishing requirement, the atmospheric condition and variation in weather, and lastly the location of the surface. After considering all these factors, we have to go for the selection of particular mortar for the plastering. Now, let us see different types of mortar first. So basically there are three types. First is the lime mortar, then the cement mortar and lastly the lime cement mortar. It is the combination of first two. So let us start with the first one, which is lime mortar. So lime is used for plastering maybe either fat lime or the hydraulic lime. However, the fat lime is preferred since it yields good putty after the slaking. So let us see a clear difference between the fat lime and hydraulic lime first. So when I talk about the fat lime, it is obtained from comparatively pure carbonate of lime containing only 5% of clay impurities. But when I talk about the hydraulic lime, it is obtained from the limestones containing clay to the extent of about 5 to 30% and some amount of ferrous oxide. For fat lime, I can say it slacks vigorously. Its volume is increased to about 2 to 2.5 times the volume of quicklime. So the slacking is accompanied by the sound and the heat. But in the case of hydraulic lime, we can say it slacks slowly. Its volume is slightly increased and the slaking is not accompanied by the sound or the heat. Even for the fat lime, it sets slowly in presence of air, while for the hydraulic lime, we can say it sets under the water. For the fat lime, it does not possess the hydraulic property, but the hydraulic lime possesses the hydraulic properties. For the fat lime, it is perfectly white in color, but the hydraulic lime, its color is not as white as the fat lime. So we can say for fat lime it is not very strong, hence it cannot be used where strength is required. But instead of that, we can go for the hydraulic lime whenever the strength is required because it is strong and can therefore be adopted where the strength is required, right? Basically, when I talk about the use, the fat lime is used for the plastering and whitewashing and for preparing mortar with sand or surki, while the hydraulic lime is used for preparing mortar for thick walls, damp places, and the extreme care is required to prepare this mortar of this lime for plaster work. Here you can see a clear difference between the flat and the hydraulic lime. Now for lime mortar, we can say this is the mixed proportion of lime and sand, which varies from 1 gem 3 to 1 gem 4 for fat lime and 1 gem 2 for hydraulic or the clinker lime. So the binding property of lime mortar can be improved by adding Google at the rate of about 1.6 kg per cubic meter of mortar. The adhesive and tensile property of lime mortar can further be improved by mixing chopped ham at the rate of about 1 kg per cubic meter of mortar, and such a treatment prevents the formation of tensile crack in the plastered surface. So that is the concept of lime mortar. Now let us move to the second type, which is cement mortar. So cement mortar is the best mortar for external plastering work since it is practically non-absorbent. It is also preferred in both the rooms. It means in the damp climates also. Cement mortar is much stronger than the lime mortar, and here the mixed proportion, it means the cement and the sand ratio may vary from 1 gem 4 to 1 gem 6. Sand used for plastering should be clean, coarse and the angular. So before mixing water, dry mixing is thoroughly done, and when water is mixed, the mortar should be used within 30 minutes of mixing well before initial setting takes place. So that is how the cement mortar is prepared. Now let me talk about the last type, which is lime cement mortar. So lime cement mortar contains the properties of both the lime mortar as well as the cement mortar. So cement mortar as such does not possess sufficient plasticity. So addition of lime to it imparts the plasticity and resulting in smooth paste, or we can say a smooth plastered surface. So here the mixed proportions generally used are 1 gem 1 gem 6. It means one portion of cement, one portion of lime, while the 6 times the sand. Or we can say 1 gem 1 gem 8 or 1 gem 2 gem 8. So here generally we go for the fat lime for this kind of construction. Now let me talk about different types of plaster finishes. So here the first type is the smooth cast finish, then the sand faced finish, then the rough cast finish, or we can say the spatter dash finish. Fourth one is the pebble dash finish or the dry dash finish. Fifth one is the depeter finish. Sixth one is the scrapped finish, and last one is the textured finish. So let us see all different types of plaster finishes in detail. So first is the smooth cast finish. So in this finish, smooth level surface is obtained. Here you can see this concept from this image. The mortar for the finish may be made of cement and fine sand in the ratio of 1 gem 3, and mortar is applied with the help of wooden floor. Steel floors are not recommended for external rendering since they give a very smooth finish which is liable to cracking and crazing under exposure to the atmospheric conditions. Now let us talk about the second type, which is the sand cast finish. So this is obtained by plastering in two coats. The first coat is applied in 1 gem 4 cement and mortar for 12 mm thickness and is provided with zigzag lines as you can see in this picture. After curing it for 7 days, the second coat is applied in the thickness of 8 mm. The mortar for the second coat is prepared from cement sand mix ratio of 1 gem 1. The sand for these is perfectly screened so that uniform size is obtained. Sponge is used in the second coat when it is still wet so that you can get the effect as seen in this image. So the surface of final coat is finished by rubbing clean and washed sand of uniform size by means of wooden floor. So this results in the surface having sand grains of equal and uniform density. Now let us move to the third type, which is rough cast, or we can say spatter dash finish. So in these, the mortar for the final coat contains the fine sand as well as coarse aggregate in the ratio of 1 gem 1 gem 3. And the coarse aggregate may vary from 3 mm to 12 mm in the size. The mortar is dashed against the prepared plastered surface by means of large trowel. The surface is then roughly finished using a wooden floor. Such a finish is waterproof, durable, and resistant to racking and crazing, and may be used for external rendering as shown in this figure. Now let us move to the fourth one, which is pebble dash finish or the dry dash finish. So in this, the final coat having cement sand mix proportion of 1 gem 3 is applied in 12 mm thickness, and the clean pebble of size varying from 10 to 20 mm size are then dashed against the surface so that they are held in the position. The pebbles may be lightly pressed into the mortar with the help of wooden float, and you can see the last outcome of this kind of plastering look like this in image. Now let us move to the fifth one, which is debtor finish. So this is similar to the pebble dash finish, in which the 12 mm coat is applied, and while it is still wet, pieces of gravel or flint are pressed with the hand on the surfaces. Flints of different colors may be used to obtain beautiful patterns as shown in this video. Now let us move to the sixth one, which is scraped finish. So in these, the final coat of 6 to 12 mm thick is applied, and after it has stiffened for a few hours, the surface is scraped in pattern for a depth of 3 mm. For scraping, steel straight edge, old show blade, or such other tool may be used. Such scraped surface is less liable to cracks as shown in this video. Now let's move to the last type, which is textured finish. So this is used with stucco plastering. So ornamental patterns or textured surface are made on the final coat of stucco plastering by working with suitable tools. Here you can see a clear image where you get the idea about this textured finish. So with this, we have completed all different types of plaster finishes. So now let us move to the next one, which is what are the defects in plastering. So the first defect is the blistering. So blistering of the plastered surface occurs when the small patches swell out beyond the plane of the plastered surface. So blistering is seen in the case of plastered surface inside the building as shown in this figure. Second type of defect is the cracking. So cracking consists the formation of crack or the fissures in the plaster work as shown in this figure. The third one is the crazing. So it is the formation of a series of hair cracks on plastered surface due to same reason which caused the cracking as shown in this figure. Fourth one is the efflorescence. It means it is the whitish crystalline substance which appears on the surface due to presence of salt in the plaster making material as well as building materials like bricks, sand, cement and even water as shown in this figure. The fifth one is the flaking. So the formation of a very small loose mass on the plastered surface is known as the flaking, and it is mainly due to bond failure between successive coats of the plaster as shown in this figure. Now the sixth one is the peeling. So it is the complete dislocation of some portion of the plastered surface resulting in the formation of a patch. This is also results from imperfect bonds as shown in this figure. Seventh one is the popping. So it is the formation of conical holes in the plastered surface due to presence of some particles which expands on setting as shown in this figure. Eighth one is the rust stains. So these are sometimes formed when the plaster is applied on the metal length as shown in this figure. And the last type is the uneven surface. It means this is obtained purely due to poor workmanship. Here you can see the image how this uneven work you can get due to poor workmanship. So with this we have completed even the defects in the plastering. So I hope you understand all the topic discussed in today's lecture. So thank you for watching. See you soon in the next lecture.